All right, looks like we're live. Welcome to my first live video mini lesson that I've ever done. There are a number of things that I have been trying to figure out. So there's kind of a high likelihood of something not working right. So forgive me if anything gets messed up or if you can't hear me or can't hear the drums. But here I am. I'm going to start doing these mini lessons every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a few weeks this summer, and maybe longer if it goes well. But the idea is that I just wanted to do some short videos, a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, or could be even less, but definitely under 10 minutes. And I wanted to just share some nuggets of wisdom and ideas that have helped me along the way. So feel free to share them, or feel free to ask questions or to send me messages on stuff you want to see covered. But yeah, the first thing I wanted to share with this very first live video was a concept that you may have heard of before. It's called burying the click. And the whole idea is it's just getting to the point where you can lock in so well with the click that you bury it and you can no longer hear it. So it takes some practice, but I wanted to give you a few steps to get the hang of it. And kind of a funny story. So straight out of music school, I went to Musicians Institute up in LA, and straight out of school, I joined a band called Future of Forestry. And I think it was a handful of months after I joined the band, had my first experience in a real recording studio and was recording an album with a band and all this stuff. So I knew all these cool tricks and all this technique that I had just learned straight out of school. And this song, it was actually the title track off of the album. It was called Twilight. So that's the song title. And the first drum part, it was just quarter notes on the kick. And I remember sitting there with the recording light on, playing to the click and trying to play these quarters on the kick, and just thinking that I didn't know how to play quarter notes on the kick, just because it was so, I don't know, it just felt so exposed and felt so revealing, as far as like, I can hear the click exactly where it is and where my kick, whether it's early or late. And I remember just feeling like it was way more effort and mental energy that it took to really line up with the click. So I got kind of nervous, and it just took me a few takes maybe. I don't remember exactly, but I mainly remember that it was much harder to play quarter notes on the kick than I anticipated. So that was kind of a surprise for me. Anyway, some of these exercises have helped me over the years to dial in where I'm placing the beat, or your time feel, as some might call it. And I'm going to post a JPEG or whatever it is in the comments where you can see these 3 steps. So I'm just going to demonstrate these 3 concepts at a couple different tempos or BPMs. The first one, I'm going to play it at 72. So we're going to start on the slower side. And by the way, if you're able to record yourself playing along to a click, like if you have GarageBand, it's really easy. What I would recommend is you have the click and you can pan it to the right, and then once you record yourself playing along to it, you pan yourself to the left and just listen with some earbuds, and it'll be really clear as you listen for a few minutes, whether you're locking in, whether you're rushing or dragging, and so on. And another big thing you'll notice is just how hard it is to keep it perfectly on. So you might feel like maybe before you do these exercises, you might feel like I can play with the click. I don't speed up or slow down, but throughout this process, you might see that there's a whole process of refining it way more than just like generally playing along to it, and that's it. So yeah, it's just refining it. I mean, we're talking about milliseconds. Like the top drummers or anyone who plays in the studio, I'll keep it at the top drummers. It's a matter of, you know, drummers can shift the placement of the notes by like right on the money, right on the beat. You could put it a little ahead to add some energy, or pull it back just a bit to cause it to feel more relaxed. But these are the things that if you're planning on being a recording musician, you want to have a little more control over. So these are a few exercises to help you with that. So here we go. I have the metronome at 72. The first thing we're going to do here is just play quarter notes on the snare. So let me turn this thing on. I hope this is at the right level. So as you're practicing this, you can seriously try this for 5 to 10 minutes each on these 3 exercises I'm going to give you. But the first one, I'm just going to play kind of medium velocity on the snare. We have 72. So here's how you do it. It's the most basic thing, but what you're trying to do is train your ears and train your mind to really like focus on this click and really nail it. And the goal really is to bury it, which means that you cause it to disappear. You can no longer hear it. So let me give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and so on. So you may have noticed that I didn't play every note perfectly. You'll hear some that are a little ahead, some are a little behind, and some were on. But as you do this more and more, you're going to notice that your ears and your limbs will get more fine-tuned. And again, if you can record yourself and listen back, that's a huge help. Okay, so next step in this process is doing the exact same thing, but with the kick. And also, side note that any of these 3 applications we're using, they can be played in many different ways, including just simply changing the dynamics. So I could try the same thing, and I could do it really quiet to see if my feel changes or if it's better or worse. So I'll just do the same thing on the snare, but quiet. And so on. So I'm going to keep going. Let's see what time it is. Okay, so same thing, but with the kick this time. 1, 2, ready, go. And so on. So there's that. And again, do it for 3 to 5 minutes or even longer. Okay, third step. What we have here is 4 on the floor. This is a good beat to start with because your kick is playing all of the quarter notes, so you can kind of hone in on that. Just listen for the kick and whether it's locking in with the kick, with the click. Yeah, kick with the click. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Rushing. So as you're doing this, you're going to want to refrain from doing fills. Anything that will break up the flow of what you're doing, just forget about it. Just do this one thing, try to lock it in the whole time. Boom, bap, boom, bap, and so on. So I guess in honor of that recording that I mentioned earlier called Twilight, the tempo was at 98, I believe. So I'm going to do all those 3 applications at this tempo just to see if I got any better since I was 19 years old. Okay, anyway. So first one, again, quarter notes on the snare. 1, 2, 3, go. So that's that. That would be for a few minutes. Now I'm going to try the kick, which is the exact pattern on that recording that I did not feel the most comfortable with at the time. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, here's a helpful side note. As you're doing this, you may notice that you have unwanted or unintentional motions or movements in your body that are happening. Sometimes I still do this, but for a long time, I would have things happening with my left leg, like playing eighth notes or just keeping quarter notes, whatever it is. And I realized later that those things can actually mess with your tempo and also cause you to feel more tense. So try to eliminate any unintentional body movements. See if you could just have that kick going. Okay, last application again. We have 4 on the floor. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So no extra stuff. No nothing, just 4 on the floor. And you're focusing on that kick, locking in with the click. Okay, so that's that. Those are the 3 applications. I'll post that as a comment below and you could save it. But yeah, really simple. Quarters on the snare, quarters on the kick, and then 4 on the floor. And from there, I mean, you could do almost anything. Yeah, the main thing is that you want to keep something consistent to really dial this in. So, I mean, you could change the beat. 2, 3, 4. But you can hear right away that the click, you hear it more obviously in the holes of where you're not playing. So that's why I like to start off with just playing 4 on the floor, because you could really lock that kick in with it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I hope this exercise is helpful, and I hope it's fun. And you can send me or tag me, Spencer Kim Drums, on Instagram. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, make sure you record yourself. And make sure you don't play extra stuff and just focus and try to just nail it. Okay, have fun and all the best.